is our very first live stream. So thank you so much for joining us. We say welcome to all of you from Nsibidi Fables. Today we shall be talking about breaking into the animation industry. And our conversation will cover AI's impact on animation, African cultural influences, the future of animation, and of course, hints and tips on how to get into the animation industry. I'm excited. I don't know about you. This is intended to be very conversational. So if you have questions, please leave them in the comment section. My name is Amy Tekefi, and I am your moderator. Of course, I'm not alone here. I have with me David, Ifeanyi, and Richard. Please introduce yourself. Let's start with Ifeanyi.
Hello everyone. I'm Ifeanyi Ezefuna. I'm the CEO of Nsibidi Fables.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
My name is David Ezefuna. I'm the Chief Technical Officer of Nsibidi Fables.
Hello everyone, my name is Richard Omiji and I'm the 3D animator at Nsibidi Fables.
Awesome. Awesome. Once again, thank you for joining me. And now let's kick things off by talking about the vision of Nsibidi Fables. What exactly is the vision of Nsibidi Fables? What inspired you to start the studio? And talk about it in line with the African context.
Well,
Ifeanyi,
Nsibidi
please go ahead.
Fables was always a passion project deep in my heart. You know, coming up as a Nigerian, we didn't have much access to some of the comic books we used to see and TV shows we used to see on TV. As soon as I had the opportunity, I found a way to get those books myself. I decided to become kind of a retailer and seller of these books because, as I said, we did not have access to it. And I thought to myself, why go through all this trouble for stories that are not really ours? Why do all this to inspire a generation when there are a whole library filled with stories and tales that we could tell ourselves? Africa is rich with legends, heroes, inspirational individuals that could uplift us. It's cool to have Captain America, but we can have Captain Africa when we have the opportunity too. It's just
Right.
finding the specific wavelength of people to tell these stories to. And thankfully, we have reached an age of technology where telling these stories is not as hard as you would think. AI has done marvelous things, and we seek to use AI to carry Africans to the forefront where we need to be.
All right. Talking about AI, AI is a huge part of the company's workflow. David, can you talk about how artificial intelligence is shaping the animation process at CBD?
Yeah, AI plays a big role in the work we do here. Um, from our conceptualization to the main animation process from the production, it helps us move faster and reduce the heavy lifting while still keeping high quality.
I mean, with a lot of animators now using AI in their workflow, don't you think that it's important that we talk about the ethics of using AI?
Yeah, I think it's really really important because as we see nowadays, things are happening in which artists and creators have their content being stolen, have their content being taken, um, and it's not really clear to people what AI does because it's AI is a very ambiguous thing. People don't really know what it does. People just hear the hate and they hate on AI as a whole. So I think we need to be very clear on how we do things in accessibility fables with AI. A lot of people worry about AI stealing from artists, and they're right to be concerned. But the way we use AI is different here. We use it as a tool. In our studio, we treat AI like a tool, not a replacement for real creativity. We use it to tell human stories, not to copy other people's works. If you look at each and every one of our animated pieces, you see that we use specific art styles that are detailed towards us. We commission somebody to make that, so we know how important people's art is to them. It's it's part of that humanity. So our mission is to show that AI when used right, can be a force for good and open new ways to bring creative visions to life.
Okay, thank you so much for that clarity, David. The reason I asked that question is so that people who are just coming into the industry will have clarity on how to use AI in their work. Okay, let's talk about African culture influence in the stories that are being told at Nsibidi. Let's talk about it. David.
Right. So there's a quote that I saw recently that stuck with me. It's by a French writer. I can't recall his name, but one thing he said was the first step in erasing a people's as a whole, as of erasing their memory and culture, is taking away their stories and their memories and everything that makes them who they are. That hits home because a lot of our culture isn't well known, even here in Nigeria, and it's really funny. If you meet a lot of people and ask them what NCBD is, most of them don't know, but it's a long lost language that many people don't even have an idea about. So through our animations, we get to bring these stories to life and share them with the world, and that's a huge weight to put on our shoulders. But I know it's something that's really important, for the world to see. A lot of us have grown up with, like Ifeanyi said, Captain America and all those larger than life personas that show part of their culture and their freedom. So who we are when we take away our culture is nobody, and we have to be able to tell these stories to the world and have it stick with them. So that's our vision here at Nsibidi Fables.
Thank you so much, David. If I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Please go on.
When it comes to the African culture and the landscape, especially in Nigeria as a whole, you see, this topic of storytelling in Nigeria has been something that has been so niche to talk about, because when we talk about storytelling in Nigeria, the first thing that comes to mind is Nollywood, man and his wife, affairs. There are other ways to tell stories. There are larger than life characters in Nigerian history. Even if we go beyond the spec of historical figures and people of legends and gods, we have other stories to tell. We have characters we can bring forth. With this new modern type of technology, that is the goal. We don't seek to be limited by our small understanding of storytelling. We don't seek to be stuck in the mundane of household affairs and other forms of content. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're going to dabble in the space of African storytelling. We have a series coming up that opens up the floor to all the stories we used to hear when we were children. And we're going to tap a spin on it that people are not even going to recognize, because when we were younger, we were told these stories out of fear. They were supposed to guide us and correct our path. People like Madame Coin Coin, the Bush babies that allow us to, okay, this is the wrong thing to do. That's the way we're going to tap it. And we're going to also spin it in some of the most fantastical elements people can ever see. Some will be horror, some will be animated. You see, this is the type of thing I'm talking about. We need to dabble into these spaces and not be afraid to step. If I heard a saying, just like David heard a saying, never tell anybody you're worth being in the room. Just be in the room. Until we start making these stories, nobody's going to take us seriously. When we talk about Nollywood, all we see there are just mundane stories, but we seek to break the boundaries with this. We seek to open the floodgates, so to speak. Thankfully, we have a good team put together to bring this into the limelight.
All right. Thank you so much. That was quite insightful. All right. Let's talk about 3D animation. AI is a huge part of our workflow. So, Richard, can you tell us how 3D is also used in the workflow and how it sets the works of Nsibidi apart from other animators or animation studios?
Thank you for that question. If we take a look at the hairdresser scene, which you can find on our YouTube page, it involved a series of steps that we have to take to get to the final result. And if you look at it at first, it looks like just a 2D animation, right? But we're able to combine processes to make the 3D look 2D. How did we go about that? Normally when you want to create a 3D project, for instance, you have to model your characters, rig your characters, and then animate the characters. So with some specific tools to make our work faster, we're able to cut out the parts that requires you modeling the character and rigging the character. So we're able to just get the character using the meta human from provided by Epic Studios. We get the meta human and then we're able to use it in Unreal and start animating straight away. So how do we get the 2D look? With that, this is where the AI comes in. We have the animated 3D model, the animated 3D character, and then we use the AI to convert the image to look like a style that we are trying to achieve, which is the 2D style at Nsibidi. And also because we are very creative people, we want to see how we can make our 3D work look more 2D like, since we are basically focusing on the 2D aspect of animation currently. So we are building the background in 3D. What this allows us to do is that it allows us to get various camera angles because it's a 3D space. So the animator would know how to, the background person doing the background know how to draw every background. If the camera changes or maybe the character is fighting in a particular way, and then the camera moves, the person would know how to draw it again. So to avoid that, everything is built in the 3D space. So if it's built in 3D space, there's a camera in 3D space, we can just quickly move the camera. And we have to apply some hacks and tricks here and there to make the 3D environment look 2D like. In our upcoming series, you see what I'm talking about there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now, looking at what you have said, how important is it for people who are just coming into the animation space to get familiar with AI tools in animation?
Yes, it is very important because, as David has been saying now, the people that don't know how to use AI would be the artists that don't know how to apply AI in their work would be the ones that will be replaced. So now, for instance, if you want to streamline your process, there are some things that you can just cut short. For instance, for the other cinema we did, the Knock Museum scene, we were talking about the Knock history and stuff like that. We're able to use AI to generate the background. Do you know how long that would have taken us if we were doing it manually? So things like that, we just try to find specific places where AI can aid us in order to cut the production time. Because how do you generate something of good standard if you are with your limited personnel, with the limited set of tools at hand? So you have to find means in which you can use the AI to make the production faster. And that's what we are trying to achieve here. So that's why if anyone's coming into the space, you have to know how to use these tools to streamline your work because time waits for no one. That's what Ifeanyi was saying. It's until you have to be in that space, you have to do things for you to be noticed. You can't just stay there and be looking, you'll be wasting time. So AI helps us speed up the process.
Okay, thank you. There's this notion, and you mentioned it when you were speaking, that AI is going to take the works of animators. David, I really want to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think that AI has the capacity to take the position of human animators?
Well, that's different from what he said. What he said was um, AI is going to replace only artists who don't know how to use AI. So the way things are going in this day and age, you know, a child can use ChatGPT and figure out some of the most complex formulas in mathematics. That's the same way it is in every other aspect of this life. So for instance, now AI is helping in the medical field for DNA sequencing and things like that. If we want to say we should let humans do all of that, it would stifle what we're trying to do with helping millions of people, and nobody wants that. So, in the case of art and music and all of this, it's simply a tool. It's like any other tool. So, if it's able to help you get to a point faster than others, that means your work is going to get out there faster. People are going to see your work faster. But the issue people have with that is that they think it kind of takes away from the ingenuity of others, when that's not really the case. In our case, we were able to, commission talented artists, talk with them and see how we could have their work always be part of ours. And that's how we got our data sets to train, and and we're still using this to this day for conceptualization and things like that. And for to go back to the question, I think it's very crucial, just like any other tool, just like digital painting, just like anything, it can be part of your arsenal to improve your craft.
Yes, thank you. Yes, you're right about what Richard said. And I just wanted you to talk more on it, and you have done justice to it. Now, let's talk about the challenges. I know there are a lot of challenges in the animation industry. So, I'd like for each of you to talk about it personally in your journey. What are the challenges you have faced, and how have you overcome, or how are you overcoming them? Let's start with Ifeanyi.
When it comes to challenges, we have faced an abundance of this, especially in Nigeria, in our country, limited by the common the common things that people abroad have seen in abundance. Light, something as basic as light, is being stressed upon here. We are struggling every day to buy fuel. The infrastructure is not there. The talent is there. But honestly, they are so scarce because the Nigerian educational system doesn't even teach courses like this. We have to keep in mind that country focuses more on labors that can be done by hand rather than some of these technical skills that are sure to bring good things for your nation but are not fast paying. So you have to keep that in mind when you're starting a journey like this. The challenges have been abundant, but I believe truthfully that through challenges, we are built right. In the face of challenges, we find a way to innovate, to grow, to find advantages to where we could be. When we started out, AI was not the core. We wanted to tell our stories because they are our stories to tell. We didn't want to wait for anyone else to come and pick through the mud and pick gold and go fund and make money off our stories. We wanted to be the voice. But then we found out how it truly is, that even if we have the abundance of talent, it's just not in the cards for us. So we decided stress and thankfulness of all the blessings God have provided for us, I found a way to stand firm in this field that is strongly compact with people of multiple talents and multiple areas of life. So when I say with this influx of challenges, it made us diamonds, it made us strong. The birth of AI also helped to boost this. If how allowed us supply and fill in the gaps where we had gaps to fill, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Ifeanyi. Let's hear from you, Richard. You're a
Okay.
3D editor. I'm sure that
Yeah.
there are lots of challenges you would have faced in your own corner. So share with us.
Okay, for instance now, working on the scenes, there are some times where they are just like background characters in the scenes. And I would want to focus on the things that are at the foreground, characters at the foreground. So animating all of those background characters can be quite a hassle. So in this same place, this is where AI comes in as well. Again, with the use of Move AI, we're able to just add some animations to the background characters. So I did not have to go about animating each and every background character in the scene. So something like that was finding out something I could do something like that was very, very amazing and very, very insightful as well. And I'm grateful for AI. I'm grateful for AI. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's hear from you, David.
All right, on this particularly, I could go on and on, but I'll
Please
try to
go
keep it.
on and
I'll
on.
try to so to start from the simplest to discuss is the infrastructure. You know, like if I said like um like I'm sure everyone in Nigeria knows, we have light issues, we have this issue, that issue, and And with the nature of our work that we do, that is a lot that it takes a toll on us. But we figured that having efficient use of your time with the light you have, and then working towards um, getting your own places that have lights and other things can help with that a lot. It does help with that a lot. So even aside from the infrastructure as well, people people are when you get them, they're also hard to manage. But that's how we are. That we're people. If we can't discuss and have creative differences, then we aren't people. We're a monolith, and that's not what we want. That's not part of the human element. So
Yeah.
even getting people in, as with animation being as underdeveloped of a field in Nigeria as it is, it's tough. It's tough getting people, you know, and I think we'll discuss that a bit further down. Um, but it was difficult finding people, so we had to use the method of speaking with each of the artists we have, and then talking with them to see who they trust to do so and so. And so from there, by God's grace, we've managed to get a number of people that we trust, and we trust in their abilities. And and without trust, we can't really evolve, And it has come a long way in all of our projects. You can see each little signature of what people have done in each and every one of our projects, and that's a huge thing. We love that feeling of family and that aspect of it with the team. So um, so nailing those issues down will be a big thing for us. Will be a big thing for Nigeria as a whole. If we what I want is that as a company, we can inspire others to put their things out there, to put themselves out there, and to truly see animation and illustration as a form of creative expression. So here, people are always saying, let's become doctors, let's become let's become lawyers, this or that. And not everybody has the capacity for that, or not everybody even wants to do that or has the talent for it. And I think that's to the detriment of our people. All the beautiful artists, and all the inspiring people of our past. Most of them were artists. They made us who we are. The person that simply made our flag was definitely an artist, and that's part of who we are. So I believe the arts and music should be well expressed in Nigeria. And I think each and every time we put out an animation and it resonates with people, I think that's putting a step forward for these things, you know. And as part of why we started this studio as well, is to show people the possibilities. You know, um, we are way behind on the global landscape when it comes to this stuff. And when we think of Nigerian stories, Nigerian animations, there's nothing that the world has seen except from this new stuff coming from Disney and things like that. So I think putting ourselves out there, putting our studio out there, our country out there, would be a huge step forward for the industry as a whole and for Nigeria.
Okay. I mean, talking about detriment, I think we should talk about those things that we have noticed with colleagues or people in the animation space that might impede their growth process in the industry. David, you want to share something about that?
Um, I think from what you've asked, I think it's more of people trying to hold others down. It's not a wide thing. If you look at Twitter and all those social media, yes, there's a lot of hate to AI and people that are even trying to use it in their works. And obviously that's trickling down to Nigerians and people around us because we're all in that space. But I think with time, the same way, you know, cameras were hated before when people used to do paintings by hand, I think that's the same way AI will outgrow this level of vitriol, if we can call it that. It's minor, but it's still there for now. And then when people begin to see the things that these tools can do, not just for your pockets, but for the landscape and what people see every day, I
Yeah.
think people will come around to it, including those that might not particularly like it right now.
Okay. Ifeanyi, you want to say something about that? What have you noticed in the animation space that you think might impede the growth of people who are just coming into the space or people who are already in the space?
I mean, when it comes to AI and animation as a whole, the first thought that comes to my head is the competition that we have to follow. Because we all have to agree, animation has been pumping fire out in recent years. We have stories, or we have animated projects like the Spider-Verse series. We have Arcane that just finished. We're about to see Devil May Cry. There are amazing animated works out there, and they will never stop coming. But the thing about all of that is, it is detrimental to the fact that even if we know they were done by hand, it is still a troublesome sight when we see our young artists being, I mean, don't get me wrong, hard work is important, but there is no way one should actually look at a solution and see it as the problem. AI is here. It's not going anywhere. It will never go anywhere. The second it was invented, your goal was to implement it into your business, into your service, and find a way to sharpen it to your own benefit. Because this type of tool will determine the future of the world, not just in the animation space. We are just a lucky few who decided, let's step into this field and let's conquer it. And that is what we seek to do. Our goal is not just to stop at Nigerian stories. No, we're going to go world with this because the fear of animation is the fear of the future. And one should never be afraid of the future. The future is here to push us forward and have something to look forward to. We are a new generation, so we can't be stuck in the ways of the past. I love traditional animation, but I think at the end of the day, they can both work hand in hand to make something great, something new.
Okay, let's hear from you, Richard. Thank you, Ifeanyi.
Yeah, I feel it's this still along the same line. You see this hate for AI. It's there to help you. That's something you should understand. People fear. I can understand that there's this fear that it's going to steal my job. It's going to steal my. It's going to steal my ideas. It's going to steal from me. But no, it's not there to steal from you. It's there to supplement your work. It's there to aid you. It's there to lift you up. It's there to assist you. It's like a personal tool that you can use. There are some things it is not capable of achieving right now. So it's left to you to see how you can combine that with your work to get better results. So, for instance, now if I'm animating something and I don't have time to make the background. I would ask, yeah, yes, please help me gladly because I have deadlines to meet. I have things to, I have deliverables to give. So, yes, why not use it? Why you have bias against it? It's a good tool. You use it to assist you, to aid you. It's not going to steal your job like you're scared of. It's not there to steal your job. It's there to assist you.
All right, thank you. Just before we go on, I'd like to remind our audience to drop their questions in the comment section. We'll get to your questions as soon as it's time. So I'd like for us to use this moment to talk about some of the things that we're doing at CBD, some of those works that we in the moment from now. So let's talk about them and let's tell the audience what they should look out for and how it can also help them to become better in the space or to get into the space. Let's hear from you, David.
Right. So some of the new projects we're doing, um, you know, I don't want to, share too much, but uh the project of Arenas, which is a part of the Kushite Empire and things like that. Some of the things we're using, some of the techniques we're using in the animation are some of the newest things that happen in the industry. They've never been used anywhere else. And using these techniques, a lot of people will see it as a daunting task, including newer people that are coming up in this industry, especially in Nigeria. But I see it as a way of, expressing yourself, expressing the techniques that you've learned of old, your skills in illustration, your skills in all of that, using AI to improve to improve on those skills is what we've done with the newer projects. And for people that are coming into the industry newly, you know, people that are interested in maybe 3D animation. It doesn't just have to be 2D, 3D, illustrations alone, using AI to help them, to help you create art better, just like we're trying to do with this new series, is going to be something that allows you be seen, because nobody wants to be stale in this industry. Nobody wants to be stale anywhere, even abroad. And using these skills would be a way to show yourself forward, so that everyone sees what you're able to do. Everyone sees that you're able to move forward, all the things you're able to do aside from what you know.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Now let's talk about let's look at the future of AI, or let's look at the future of animation broadly. What do you envision for the future of animation, and how do you think, I'm asking Ifeanyi right now, how do you think that Nsibidi Fables can contribute to that growth?
That's an amazing question. You see, in when it comes to animation as a whole, there is a gap in Nigeria. I feel this gap is the only solution. Right? We can't be waiting for others to fill this gap ourselves. We can't be waiting for Netflix to come here and tell the type of stories we want told. So, especially when it comes to animation, I feel in a way that this new form of animation we're putting forward, the combination of both hard work, traditional animators, 2D, 3D designs, can also work hand in hand with AI. And this will put forth or bring forth something that has never ever been seen before. We are just the forefront. I mean, when pencil drawings or when digital drawings were discovered, some people looked at it and said, ew. But now this is a way of life, it is a standard. So this is just the threshold. We are in the forefront of something great. And honestly, I am absolutely excited to see what will be born from this hard work, because it is hard work. Some people think, oh, because we're talking about AI, that means everything we're doing is easy, but it's not. It really isn't. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of time and a lot of money. So I believe the inventions and the discoveries we will make that you will see, because we will make sure to push Nigeria as a whole to the forefront when it comes to entertainment animation. So my goal, you ask, is to conquer this whole space. My goal is to tell our stories for us and parts of the world that will enjoy this story.
Hmm, thank you. Let's hear from you, Richard.
Okay, so please can you repeat your question?
Okay, let's talk about what you envision for the future of animation, and how do you think that the studio, CBD Fables, can contribute to the growth of animation?
Okay, I would like to go back to why I joined the studio in the first place. So yeah, David invited me, talked to me, and when I saw the description of the job, I studied systems engineering at school, so I did AI stuff for my final year project. And David was like, he needed a 3D animator. He is also good with AI. I was wondering, how does this mix, how does this mesh? And then I came over to the studio physically to meet David, and then I saw the crazy, mind-blowing thing he was doing, combining the animation and the AI together. It was generating frames with. Yeah, I was asking, how does this work? I was really, really interested in this, and then I just thought this is the future. Insipidi Fables is the future.
Yes.
And that's why I feel like, yes, I'm on the right path, and I would love to see the amazing, mind blowing things. The same way I was mind blown, I want other people to experience that from our works, from the things that we're going to be producing here, from the things that we are currently producing here. So I can't.
Okay, the network interrupted for a bit. Can you still hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right, perfect. Let's hear from you, David. I know you can speak extensively on this. Please go ahead.
Yes, yes. Okay, so there's a lot to this. There is a whole lot to this. So I see, I love animation, of course. I love animation to bits, but I see this as something that can even transcend animation itself. So when we think of a video, So everything is in 2D, of course, and everything is very simplified. And to change it from one form to another, everybody thinks it's a daunting task. And I know it's very complex, but it's what I mean by it can transcend animation is that if AI is able to do the things that we envision, which is being able to change video from one form to another, which is the basis of what I've been doing in the studio. Um, it's going to be huge in the sense that not just changing from 3D animation to 2D, but from changing video footage, like from movies and the things we watch, and adding a VFX to it that looks so realistic that it's indistinguishable from real life. So when we have a video of it can help the Nigerian Nollywood as we know it. It can help Nigeria's video and movie industry to the point where it can bring us closer to Hollywood and bring that cost down. So the way things work now in Hollywood and the way VFX is done is that they're done bigger companies who are essentially vying for who gets to do which projects because of how much time is involved in it and how much budget is involved in it. So if we are able to, you know, go beyond, it can go further beyond animation and can go into movie making, essentially bringing everything down to a level where anyone can make art or movies as they see fit. And I think that's going to be a huge thing for human ingenuity and creativity. Um, as for on a ground level, so now we're talking about skills beyond just Nigeria. So if we're talking about just Nsibidi Fables, I believe it would it would give a newer generation something to fight for, something to move towards, and it would essentially create new job opportunities, new ways of creating art, and that's one thing I want Nsibidi and Nigeria as a whole to do. That's put ourselves and our art out there, you know.
Okay, thank you, thank you. That was quite interesting to listen to. Okay, just before we go to the questions from our audience, let's give them hints and tips to get into the animation industry. I'm sure a lot of them have been waiting for this moment. So let's go ahead. I would like to start with Richard.
Okay. For me, as a 3D animator, I'm always particular about skill. You have to learn how to do things. You have to do things. So you have to work for yourself. Yeah. For 3D animation, it comes like me before I joined MCBD, I was working as a freelancer. So working as a freelancer in Nigeria involves you learning how to do everything. That's why I'm called a 3D generalist now. I have to model, I have to rig the character.
Okay, I think there's a network glitch. Can you still hear me?
That's
Yeah,
Learn
yeah.
3D.
Okay, he's back.
Oh. I said with everything I had to do myself. Learning
We
3D.
lost you for a moment. Can you
I talked about working as a freelancer before. Did you get that?
yes, you
Yeah,
did.
so
yes, we do.
freelancer involved me learning how to do everything. So in order to do everything, I had to animate, I had to model, I had to rig the characters, I had to texture. So at those different fields, you have to get to a certain level of skill before your work is appreciated, before you can even be hired, before you can be employed, before you can create content that people would appreciate. So I'm very particular about skill, learning what you want to achieve and learning how to achieve that, how to get to that particular point where people would appreciate your work. So my tip and hint is for you to get better, to do more, get better, practice, employ and smart practice smartly. Because some people spend years not animating the right way. For instance, 3D animation involves you knowing things about your arcs, knowing things about your squash and stretch, knowing things about action reaction, knowing things about timing and spacing. So if you are not able to employ all of this skill, all of these things that I've just mentioned, your animation will look unnatural. It will not look right. So you
Okay.
have to learn these things, work on your skill for you to get where you.
Okay. The network again. Let's hear from you, Fine. Your microphone is off.
Okay, apologize for that. So if I could do this all again, starting from scratch, the first skill I will ever learn would be to learn how to create. Because it seems we have come to a point in time where writing has been taken for granted so much. Because, like I said, we have had an abundance of stories, and this new generation had just become complacent with the stories that they have heard or stories that have already been created. My advice will never be too afraid to make something new, to birth new ideas, not just when it comes to AI or technology, but to actually tell stories that resonate with you deep in your heart and deep in your mind. All these writers that wrote such amazing books like Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, um, Rick Riordan, all these legends that we have grown up reading. Because through my college years, from my high school to this point, I still love to read comic books and everything. They give me a sense of peace and joy. And I think it takes a specific talent that has been nurtured for years to allow a grown man reach that point. It's not something you just decide, okay, one day I'm good at writing. It's a skill you have to build forth. And that is one thing I think Nigerians are starting to lack. They don't have enough drive, enough patience to say, oh, let me sit down and put this idea to paper and spread it around the world. Let it inspire a new generation of writers, because that is what writers are supposed to do: inspire new technology. AI is the future, like I said. AI is here. It is not leaving for
Mhm.
anyone. And your only weak point will be to ignore this. Import it in any way you see fit. Make your work sharper, improve your time. Because in this world, timing is everything. If you're the first to make a breakthrough, there is no one on earth that will look at you sideways. You need to be confident enough in your talent to say, hey, I am not so stupid and blind to see this tool that can make my life easier and faster and sharper and better, and just ignore it because of what everyone else is saying. I am not trying to take food out of artists' mouths. I'm just saying there is a way to make your work more efficient, your work sharp. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some works of art that will make your mouth water, but AI is here and it is not going anywhere. Businesses that will be lost when it comes to AI are businesses that fail to integrate AI to their systems. You need to be bold enough to say, hey, let's use this new technology and make our workspace better. Let's use this technology and put our business in a standing that will shake the whole nation. Never ever be afraid to look at new technology and say, ugh, I don't want to use that. It's against my morals. This is real life. This is not the Terminator. AI is not here to destroy you. They're here to make your life better. Just accept it, move on, and grow. Build yourself an empire of a machine that people have been
Mhm.
ignoring. So yeah, that's my
Yeah,
take.
thank you. Thank you. That's great. All right.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Right.
Go ahead, please.
You see, that's one of the infrastructure we're talking about. Any small thing that your network is gone. So
Right.
that's it. When we're talking about what I would advise people to do, like I said, it's this applies to anything, and that is put your stuff out there. If you don't put your stuff out there, nobody sees it. If Albert Einstein didn't put his equations out there, a lot of science that we're using today wouldn't be known. You know, if Leonardo da Vinci didn't put his works of art out there, no one would have
Mhm.
seen it. In fact, a lot of these artists, funny enough, it's after they've passed that their stuff is seen and grows. So if your work is not out there, nobody will see it. If nobody sees it, nobody knows what you can do. So
Mhm.
for anyone out there that is trying to get into any field, especially art, because of how visual it is. If you don't practice, like Richard said, and if you don't improve, if you don't adapt, like Ifeanyi said, and you don't show your stuff out there, you're going to be left behind. Nobody's going to see your work. Nobody's going to know how good you are. Nobody's going to know how willing you are to improve on anything you're doing. So in anything in life, I think that goes for anything. So put your work out there, and if people see it, they love it. Opportunities will never be short for you. So
Yes. This reminds me of Austin Kleon's Show Your Work, his book Show Your Work. You have to continuously put your at any company. So I would love for you to emphasize the need for them to do something and show it to the world so that should they be asked, what have you done? What can you do? They can present that. Please speak on it.
um, that's for me, right?
Yeah, yeah, speak on
So
it, yes.
so obviously, a lot of things in life are luck, but as somebody wise I know once said, luck is where skill meets opportunity. So you obviously have to put in your work, obviously have to put in your craft, but then you have to know the right places to show your work. So for the people that I work with, amazing people, I've never quite seen work like theirs, obviously, not abroad and everything, but for me to see their stuff, when I say it was hard to find people, I mean it. So what I had to do was go on, just like Richard here, I had to check freelancers. I had to go on LinkedIn. I had to go on all of these social media to find these specific people and to see what they could do, discuss, go back and forth and see what was possible. So I think for people that are trying to, need more concrete advice, I'll say you should check out places like art art station, like Instagram. Just put your things in those places so that when people see them, they know exactly what you're about. Because like I've been saying throughout this stream, art is essentially a manifestation of your lived experiences, who you are as a person. If they see that, they know the kind of person they're bringing on, and that would be a huge thing for whoever is looking.
Okay, thank you so much for that, David. I have learned a lot. I don't know. I believe that our audience have also learned so much. But let's get right into questions from our audience. We have questions. Are we ready?
Yes, yes.
Okay. The first question I have here is how does AI impact creativity and originality in animation?
Mm.
Any of you can go ahead.
Okay, I think I'll
Okay.
I'll take that one. I've been taking a lot of them recently, but so
I see
as
you.
for how, okay, you can be afterwards.
No, go ahead.
As for how AI can help with creativity, in part of the process with regular illustration, not AI here, is looking at work, at art that you've seen that inspires something in you, kind of like we're trying to do as a whole. So how the illustration process works is people look at art they want to emulate. People say um, emulation is part of art. And so when you watch these things, you learn and then you create your own style from it. I think AI can help with that because from a lot of our work, not a lot, but a part of our work, AI has served in inspiring what's possible. So part of our conceptualization process is, if we don't have a specific idea in mind or are not able to draw it, we then, myself, I then create artistic representations of what I have in my mind and then show it to our artists. That way they can see exactly what I want. Because with regular art, you have to tell them they create creative spin on it. Not so much that it takes away from what you want, but enough that it's better than what you could have expected. And so that way you can have art actually work with humans to form that kind of uh, augmented artistry to it that can be better than just doing it the regular way. And so I think that it's able to inspire creativity in people, similar to how humans do in each other. So
Awesome. I think you answered that question well. Let's go to Ifeanyi. Your hand was up a moment ago.
As I said, when Adobe came out with, I know the whole world is kind of mad at Adobe right now, but Adobe came out with some of the most game-changing applications, especially when it comes to creativity and art. And back then, some of the more traditional artists were looking at this like, my God, what is this? Like, it was some type of life-changing, job-taking virus that was going to come in and wash away all the potential jobs and money they could be earning. But the truth of the matter is that you have to look at these things and these tools because they are tools at the end of the day. They're not living, breathing beings. Like I said, the people who will conquer are the people who have total and absolute understanding and control of these new tools. So when you ask that question, the first thing that came to mind is why look at a tool and be afraid of it? Why not use that tool to supplement your own growth? Why not use that tool to support their minds and this new technology that you could just click in a question and it brings forth a reasonable step-by-step guide how you want to reach your goal, how to better your life. Like I said, this is the tool, and the tool is supposed to be used. Artist, open your landscape, open your mind, and accept this change that could bring forth some insane growth if you let it, or you can be afraid and be stuck in the past. You see, at the end of the day, it's a choice. AI will always be here to stay. The only solution one can take is to integrate or total denial. My advice is to integrate because this new age is the age of technology. As much as most people don't want to admit it, this is the age of technology. And yeah, we plan to use it to the best of our abilities.
Okay, thank you so much, Ifeanyi. We have another question. It says, what new job roles are emerging in animation because of AI? Do you get that?
yes, yes.
What new job roles are emerging because of AI? You want to
Okay.
go ahead, David?
Yes, yes. I'll take that. So a lot of people, I love that question. I love it a lot. A lot of people would say AI is taking away jobs. It's similar to how people, would, like I want to say with the cameras again, it's similar to how people in the past would say, uh, we don't want cameras, it's going to take the job of painters and blah, blah, blah. But I think they can live side by side, and I love that dynamic to it. So for this question, you know, AI, one thing with AI is prompts. That's how we understanding of these tools to know how prompts work, how you should use them, and how exactly to speak to the AI. Because not everyone can particularly understand it. It's not exactly natural language in some cases. It depends on the words you use and the things you use. So it's worth putting your time into learning, and that's one key thing one key tool that is very essential. And anyone that's trying to learn these things, because it goes from language models to image to video to even beyond that. So a prompt engineer is more to it.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone want to say anything again to this? All right. You want
Yes,
to go ahead, Richard?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
okay.
Richard, please
I
go.
saw a job application recently. I just want to bring it out there. I saw a job application recently for AI animator. AI
I
animator.
saw that as well.
Yeah, so
Wow.
the new job was bringing up.
I've seen
Wow, wow.
too. So
Awesome.
even there's AI musician too. I've seen AI musician because
Yes.
using Tunu and all these tools, it's a lot. So um, I think I think it's more of they are going to be additive to people, except from prompt engineers and all of that. So if you are able, if you are able to do 2D animation, that's one thing. If you're able to do 3D animation, that's another. And then if you're able to do AI, that it speaks to the kind of multi-dimensional element to AI in which you can actually do 2D and 3D animation. Obviously, not to the level of both, at least not yet. But I think with AI, it allows you to be flexible. That's what AI actually allows you to do. So um, there will be AI musicians who actually can do normal music but have learned to use AI in their workflow. There will be AI
Exactly.
illustrators and all of that in the future. That's what I see. And you never know, more things might come up, you know.
Come up. More things will definitely come up. More will come up. I mean, every day we see surprises from AI, so why not? More things to come up.
Exactly.
Okay, Ifeanyi, your hand was up.
Okay, so you know, in my position, especially leading this whole organization, I see a lot of things. Most things I don't tell the staff about, but the truth of the matter is the evolution of AI is coming in waves. Matter of fact, most people do not know that we are going to start offering some of these classes to be able to teach our fellow Nigerians because we're not hiding this secret. We're not hiding these techniques, these tools
Shouldn't
we
be, yeah.
have learned to start using ourselves. Nah, we're going to make it public for everyone to learn, everyone to use, everyone to grow. Because these jobs are popping up. They're springing up. Let me not even say popping. But organizations are actually hiring full firms to guide them in integrating AI into the system. And that's the one thing I'm most proud
Definitely.
of, especially being a Nigerian. Because at the end of the day, Nigerians have been so stuck in our ways, accepting this new change thought will be denied. But it seems like most organizations are starting to open their eyes to the reality that this will actually be beneficial for me. So why deny it when I can integrate? Because at the end of the day, AI will fill in the gaps where human error comes into play. Because there's a bunch of things I've noticed so far in running the business. Human error can cripple a whole organization. So when humans are assisted by an artificial intelligence that can fill in the gaps where they are failing, I think that's a perfect combination for success.
Awesome. Okay, so we have another question here. It says, does Nigeria have the infrastructure to scale and compete? I feel like we touched on this while we're having the conversation earlier, but then we can emphasize.
A bit, yes. Um, okay, I'll speak on that. So recently, I think there's been Nigerians, once we see opportunity, that's one good thing about us. That's one of the many great things about us. So this applies to the tech industry as well. Obviously, it's not widely known. People don't say this, that, this is happening. We don't have an open AI here that there's always something coming up. But recently, speaking with friends of mine that are into this, it has been known that a lot of people have begun to actually look into AI in their respective industries, fields, whatever, and they've been bringing those infrastructure. In the case of AI, servers, things like that, into the country, and this would serve to actually improve our standing on the global landscape when it comes to AI. And concerning that, I think it's a huge add to us because right now we really don't have anything except from cloud services. And when these things start to come up, people will then begin, when resources are available, people will begin to use. I think we'll surely be able to get to that point quick and compete with the global market. Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted.
All right, thank you, David. Does anyone want to say something to that? All right, let's go to the next question. It says, how do we ensure the majority of Nigerians are not left behind as the world adopts AI? Okay, go ahead, Ifeanyi.
Okay, so as I said before, we don't plan to hold these newfound technologies and techniques to animation in lock and key. You know, we're not trying to keep this a secret. If you have reached out to any social media of ours, you've noticed that we are always there to have a conversation with you. We're always there to integrate you and teach you and improve the Nigerian standing, especially in the animation space. We are not scared, we are not hiding, and we want to grow as a nation, not just individuals, because if we're just growing individually, what's the point? The whole point of this operation is to push all of us together forward, not just one group of people. We're not trying to get rich off the backs of our own people. We're trying to get rich with our own people because we are already rich in talent, writing, skill. So this is a tool, as I've said before, that I seek to give to the masses. Like I said, next, I think I don't know if we've announced it yet, but I think this is probably the best time. Implementing right now in our animations to you. We will guide you and make sure you are not left behind by this modern technology. So don't be scared. Reach out to us. We are here to stay.
Interesting. I like to hear opportunities. That was so loud. Can you be louder? Please say one more time.
We're
Please
here
say
to
one more time
stay.
in case they missed
We're here
it.
to stay, Nigerians. We're here to stay. And we're going to bring this new technology to every single person who wants to have access to it. Nobody who is more special than the other. We're here, we're a family, and we are glad to have each and every one of you join this family.
Awesome. Interesting. Thank you so much. Does anyone want to say something to that? You want to go ahead, David?
No, I'll take the next one.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. Give me a moment, please. Network again. A moment, please. Okay, I think I've read it before, so let me see what I can remember. It says, how can voiceover artists integrate AI into their work? Okay, please go ahead, fine.
All right, so I don't know most of you. Most of you may not know this, but personally, like I said, my love for comic goes deep. I'm not just an active reader on it. I like to think of myself as someone who interprets comics themselves. I have a channel of my own that I try to post on as often as I can, even while still running this organization because it's a passion project of mine. So I could tell you firsthand that if you're scared about losing in the forefront and allow you to learn and teach AI in your own voice. So if you think you have a distinctive voice, if you think you're special, you probably are. And I'm telling you right now, you can monetize that. There are apps that allow you train your own AI model to talk exactly like you, to express exactly like you. And this is the type of technology that people will need to have high standing in their work field. You are a human being. You cannot be in 20 places all at once. But imagine a world where you can license your own voice, where you can earn by not even being in the room, by paying organizations that love the way you sound to just have a quick advert for them just because they like the way you sound. I know most of you guys are thinking, it's a slippery slope, but that is what technology is. It's always going to be there. It's unapologetic in its use. So your best and most efficient way to integrate this technology yourself, especially when you're in the voice over field that can be easily taken over by AI. Because I think some of the first AI uses were for voice changes and voice chats. These are not even new concepts. They've been here longer than video generation or image generation. People have been copying voices for the longest. So my advice is to you is to integrate, find a way to own your own voice, because as much as you might think you own your own voice right now, you don't really own it if it's not making you money. The whole goal
Right.
is to
All
integrate,
right.
learn, and build a stable career from every possibility and every angle. We are Nigeria.
Artists, you can use AI to edit your work. You can also use AI to enhance your audio. Most of the time, when you just get into the space, what you struggle with, or what voiceover artists struggle with, you struggle with noise, you struggle with not having a studio, shuffling between one studio to the other, and all of that. But those things now have been, reducing because we have softwares, we have AI tools that can help to edit your work and take away the background noise. So thank you so much, Ifeanyi, for responding to that. And one more thing, you can also use AI to develop a character that you want to talk about as a voiceover artist. It can help you develop the character to better understand the character and better voice that character the way it should be. So let's see if we have any more question before we go on. Okay, I think that was the last question. All right, so now that we have answered the question, talk to us about, this is for all of you right now, and I will want to start with Richard. Give us one last moment, something you need us to know that we haven't talked about in the conversation that we've had so far. Even if we've talked about it, if you want to say it for emphasis, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to still emphasize the thing about skill. I
Okay,
started learning animation when I was 14. Skill and curiosity, because curiosity is the most important thing to consider. I wanted to know how things worked. I saw cartoons. How do they make these cartoons? How can you channel your curiosity?
thank you. Let's hear from you, Fine.
Well, I think I've hammered home a lot of points that I've carried deep in my heart. Because at the end of the day, I think we are at the precipice of something great. And I just want my people, I want Nigerians to never be ashamed to call themselves Nigerians outside. We shouldn't just be known for the crimes we have committed or the artists we or the songs that are coming out. We can give the world so much more other things. We're limited at the people that went first. But the truth of the matter is because they went first doesn't mean they're the only people who have something to say. This generation has something to say, and AI will allow us tell those things. AI will allow us get our points across. So I'm going to say it again. Do not be afraid of technology. Do not run away from this. Integrate. If you're a business owner, if you're a young entrepreneur, do not run from technology. Embrace it. Because at the end of the day, these are the types of things people build empires over. These type of technologies are only born once in a millennia. And now that it's here, you're telling me you're scared? Come on. You're a Nigerian. Stand up. Be hungry. And use any tool at your disposal to reach those goals. Sound, music, visually, storytelling, business, accounting, lawyers, use to be proud of. School is becoming obsolete because of this type of technology. And why would you ever think this is something to be scared of? No, I think everybody should sit up and join the family because as I promised, we are not here to nitpick or hide anything we have or we have discovered. We are here to share. We are here to gift. We are here to grow as a unit, as a nation, as a continent. Africans, we are kings and queens. So I think we should just move with that energy. Don't be shy. Don't be apologetic. Just be yourself. Be true to who you are. Let AI bring forth your glory, so to speak. It's a tool, so we should use it, right?
You muted.
Oh, but yes, go ahead, David.
Um, okay. So one thing I'd like to say is in this day and age, it's not only about, using AI and this and that. So I don't want to be crass by saying this, but let me see whether I can change it around. So you can't polish dirt to make it clean. It will still be dirt. So if you have no skill in let's say animation, you have no knowledge in animation, or let's even go voice acting. If you've never tried to make your voice appealing, using tools to polish yourself will exactly do much. So hammering back on Richard's point, that factor of skill is still a huge part of it. So I had some background. Okay, AI will help us do this. AI will help us do that. Until I began to use AI, and I saw okay, that's one thing we AI people don't know. So when you're using AI, you begin to see your own shortcomings, and only a smart person will use those comings and AI itself to improve themselves. So when people use ChatGPT to write exams, to do this, do that, they are not, when they finish, they are not, there's nothing in their head. They don't know anything. So only the smart will use AI for the right purposes. That is to improve your own skill as a person. So what happens now if AI disappears? What happens now if this tech disappears? You still have to have been impacted by it to move forward in this world, and you'll be better for it. So skill, I think it's is a huge part of it. There's so many tools now, like for instance, Google's Veo, Google Stable Diffusion, Move AI for 3D, Comfy UI, Stable Diffusion, all those things, those fancy things. There are a lot of tools that can help us at the moment, and it's also up to you to better yourself so that you can actually use these tools to the best that they can be used for. You know, so that's one thing I would like to leave. If anyone stays in this call and doesn't really hear anything, doesn't some for some reason your microphone is off, please, you need to improve yourself. Always strive to improve. Even when you have the tool, use it as a stepping stone to continue to improve your craft or whatever you're doing. It's the only step to make you better.
Awesome. Thank you. Quite insightful and refreshing session. Thank you, David. Thank you, Ifeanyi. Thank you, Richard, for sharing your knowledge. We've come to the end of this session, and we're really grateful for your time. And to our wonderful audience, thank you so much for your support. Thank you very much. What we want to say to you is that you should keep dreaming, keep being creative, and ensure that you grow. And right about now, we also want to say that you should follow us on all social media platforms at Nsibidi Fables and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more projects that we are going to be showing to you. Once again, thank you so much. Okay, David. David wants to say something before we close. Please go ahead.
Right. I'm also in the chat right now. So I think someone just sent a question, a really interesting question that we can just, go into before we
Okay.
we we close the session for today.
All
So,
right. Please go ahead. I must have missed it.
all right. So the person asked if we're talking about AI for animation, what type of AI exactly and how? Are you talking about um Are you talking about mocap or rococo suits for recording animation motions and things like that? So, um, I assume you're talking about 3D animation. So, there are a lot of tools that help that are accessible to people right now when it comes to 3D animation. So, like you just said, Rococo Suit, that's more accurate in the sense that it's not really AI is helping to clean things up, but it's not the whole majority of the thing. And one reason why I would say, if you're not a professional, one reason why I would say you should use stuff like, um, Move AI and things like that is because if you're trying to learn, um, when trying to learn, I'm sure Richard can speak a lot to that, but when trying to learn animation, a lot of people like to use references in general. So when you have your animations done in with that kind of thing, obviously sometimes it's not perfect. When I was trying to animate, um, I used Move One, some of the videos are on our channel, and then I used that to kind of to learn because in that case it wasn't perfect. So I was able to learn by improving on it, and so that's what I mean when I say move. When I say using AI in 3D, another way is what we started with, what we built this studio on, which is using AI as a form of stylization for 3D animation. So, you can have things that look like meta humans, and then you can stylize them to look exactly how you want them. You know, in that way, you can cut down the time you can use for making characters that way and things like that. And you never know if you want to use it to experiment, in which I'm trying to do that with the current thing we're working with. Um, AI can be a really good tool for that. So AI can be a really good tool for learning 3D animation. It can be a really good tool for making the animations like Move AI and other tools like that. There are also tools right now, and it's always getting better. So there are AI tools right now that can help with image to 3D. So if you're an artist, you draw that kind of thing, and then you want to actually go into 3D animation, you can actually draw your characters, draw them to the specifications you like, and then look into these tools to see what's possible. Because you can then use that as a form to either get to your end product faster or learn. You know, the sky's your limit. It's the tools are in your hand. It's up to you to use them for whichever purpose you want to use them for. So I hope that answers
Awesome.
the
Thank you
question.
so much. Yeah, so much, David.
Right.
Love to share. We love to tell you what we know. We love to make you know what we know. So follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe so that you can have more moments like this. We can't wait to have more moments like this with you. All right. So at this point, we say goodbye. See you again
Bye,
at our
everyone.
next live stream. Bye.